Alexandra Spalato. I'm French, as you can hear by my accent, but I'm half Spanish and I live in Madrid. I'm super happy to be here in Croatia because I have a special bond with this country, as I share my life with a Croatian since more than 20 years, and I've been living in Split 8 years ago, so I'm happy to be back. So my topic today is how to remix your shop with Shopify Hydrogen to build a lightning-fast e-commerce store. So who of you has already used Hydrogen? Okay, nobody. Who is planning to use it? And who is into e-commerce? Okay, that's something. Okay, so first we will see what is headless commerce, why is it important, what is Shopify Hydrogen, is its features, and finally we will dive into the code of an Hydrogen project. So headless commerce means the separation of the back-end and the front-end, and this is achieved thanks to an API-driven architecture which allows for a flexible and customizable front-end experience. So when compared to monolithic, headless commerce offers many advantages. Omnichannel selling, faster time to market, better performance which leads to better SEO, personalization and customization, and certainly much more. However, it may come with an increased development complexity. So imagine an e-commerce platform that offers all the benefits of headless commerce while minimizing the development complexity. This is where Shopify Hydrogen comes in. So Shopify Hydrogen is a new framework designed to simplify the development of headless Shopify stores. It incorporates built-in best practice and is built on top of Remix. So if you know Remix, you will feel at home with Hydrogen. But who of you is using Remix? Okay, and who don't know anything about Remix? Okay, so Remix, it's a React full-stack framework based on web standards, and you can really build fast and scalable application, and it also provides a really good developer experience that is built on web standards. I learned it while I was learning Hydrogen, and I fell in love with it, so now it's my really go-to framework. So Hydrogen offers a component-based architecture that leverage Remix for improved performance, and it also provides a seamless integration with Shopify APIs. So now it's time to build a project and to dive into the code of a storefront using Hydrogen. So first, we are going to create the project using the CLI, so npm create and Shopify Hydrogen latest. With this command, we will obtain in 2 minutes a full-featured e-commerce website. But for this project, I have used the Hello World template to see really what we build. But let's see what we get with this command in 2 minutes. So this is the shop we get just in 2 minutes with this command. So we have a signing, we have a search, we have all the categories, all the products with options. We have the cart, of course, which is empty now. And this is the code that we get. We get all the route possible: login, logout, recover, register, reset, addresses, orders, profile, products, collection, I imagine. Well, you have really everything. So you can use that as a starting point and customize it, or you can also look at this and find the code that we need. But for this project, and this is the project I have built for this talk, I have built it on top of the Hello World template that give you really a bare-bone repo to build on top of it. So this is a small website about surf, and the homepage is built with Hydrogen and also with Storyblok, which is my favorite headless CMS. So the homepage as part of the CMS, here there is this banner. Then we have a grid of products, which is pulled from Shopify, and this single products pulls this from the CMS and this from Shopify, so we can do a little bit of storytelling. And now if I go to boards, I see my collection entries, so performance board and original boards. So if I click on the performance board, I have my collection details with all the products. And if I go to my product details, I have a shop pay button, which is a buy now button. I can add to the cart, and if I add to the cart, I can see the number of items here in my cart. I can go to my cart, I can remove items from my cart, and I can continue to check out. So it's really a functional small e-commerce. And now if I come back home, I can see that my banner has changed. It's now featuring performance board, and all my product grid are performance board because I have introduced some personalization here. So analyzing the navigation, I serve performance board to my users because I've been navigating to the performance board. So this is a project, and let's back now to our slides. Oops. So now let's see how we can fetch and mutate data in Hydrogen. So Hydrogen provides a storefront client to send queries and mutation from remix loaders and actions. So remix loaders are functions that get the data from the server, and remix actions that create mutations on the server. So first we need to create and inject the storefront client in server.js. So let's go back to the code again. So this is the code of the project I've created, and we have this file server.js, which is the entry point. And so we have this function create storefront client. So this is given to you with the Hello World template, almost everything. And so we get this storefront by passing to the create storefront client all our variables. And then we pass the storefront to get load context, so it will be available in our global context in our loader and action functions. So from there, we can use storefront.query to send GraphQL queries to our storefront and load data. So we will use that to get the data from our products and our collection, also to read the data from the cart. And we will use storefront.mutate to perform GraphQL mutations in remix actions. So this will be used for all the cart operations. So now let's see how to create products and collections. So we have three routes for that. We have a collection.index that will display all the collection entries, so our performance board and our original boards. The collection $handle.js6 will display the title, description, and paginated products from a collection, so the collection details, and the products $handle will display the product details. So this is how it works. So here for the index, collection index, we create a collection query to get the ID, the title, the handle, the image of our collection. And then we pass this query to context.storefront.query in our loader. So the loader will get this data from the server. Then in our component, in our collections component, we get the collection data using useLoader data, which is a remix hook to get the data from our loader. Then we map around our collection and display them. And we will do the same with our collection details and with our product details. We get the query, we pass it to storefront.query, we get the data with useLoader data, and then we can display it on the front end. So it's very, very simple. And also, Hydrogen provide the Hydrogen React library, which is a library of React components, hooks, and utilities that can be used with any React framework. So for example, if you have Next website and you want to use Hydrogen with it, you can use these components. So for example, we have the image component to get the image from Shopify, the money component to display the price along with the currency very easily. The Shop Pay button provides a Buy Now button just by passing the store domain. And there is many more other components for the cart. Here in our case, we are going to build a server-side cart, so we will not use them, but you can go to the documentation and find all these components and implement Hydrogen on any React framework. So now let's see how we can handle SEO in Hydrogen. So Hydrogen provides an SEO component that collects the data defined in a handle export here. And we can pass a function that receives the loader data as an argument. So here we have defined the title with the shop name and the description with the shop description. Then we place this SEO component in the head in our root file, which is the parent root of all the roots. And in the other roots, like for example, here's the product handle, we can overwrite it. So here, for example, for the product, I want the product title as title, and I want the product description as description. And this is the result. Here you can see that we have our title here, and we have our meta description, which is the product description. So very, very easy to manage SEO on Hydrogen. And now it's time to set up a cart. So a cart operation could be done on the client side, but this would cause a performance degradation because of all the additional code delivered to the browser. And it would also affect the customer experience, as the critical flows won't be actionable until JavaScript has finished loading. But Remix has a powerful mutation API that use web standards like the form element and HTTP, so we can implement a traditional server-side form workflow while keeping the benefits of client-side user experience. And so you don't even need JavaScript to have the cart working. So this will allow progressive enhancement and optimistic UI and a lot of good stuff. So let's build a performant server-side cart. So first, we need to initialize the create cart handler. So this happens again in server.js, and within the fetch handler, we create the cart instance by passing the storefront and functions like to get the cart ID and set the cart ID in this create cart handler function. Then we pass this cart to get load context, so our cart will be accessible and it can be manipulated as needed. So with this step, the cart is all set up and ready to roll. Now we have a cart, and we need an Add to Cart button to have products to our cart. So let's create this button. For that, we import the cart form component that abstracts away a lot of complexities. So let me tell you that I was giving this talk several times a few months ago, and this cart form was not existing. So all what we are going to do now, I was doing it by hand, and so now it's much more easier. Well, it was not easier for me because I discovered that 1 week ago, and I had to rebuild many things because of that, so I was literally in panic. But that shows how fast Hydrogen is evolving in the way to making really the developer experience easier. So we define what we want to add to the cart with the lines. So the lines are the products, and we specify the item with the merchandise ID, which is the variant ID prop, and we define also the quantity. Then we have a route attribute that will define the route where our form will be processed. So in this case, it will be in the cart route. And the action attribute define the action. Here, it's lines add. And in the inputs, we pass the lines, which are the products and these quantities that we want to add to the cart. Then our button is nested inside the cart form. So this ensures that a click translates to adding items to the cart. And thanks to the action lines add, it will trigger the function to add the items to the cart. And in the action is directed to our cart route. So we place our button in our product page under the shop pay button. Then we need a remove from cart button that works the same. So here the lines are the lines ID prop representing the products we want to remove. And the action is lines remove. And here we add an icon inside our button. And this button will be placed in our cart item so we can remove items from the cart. Okay, now we need to set up the cart route. And we need an action function in this cart route to process all the cart actions. So we grab the form data from the request and we pass it to cart form get form input to grab our action and inputs. Then we've got a switch statement to manage all the cart actions. So depending on the action, we trigger the different cart function, add, remove, or update lines. And a small but crucial detail is the cart ID. It can change, so we always make sure to get it updated. Okay, so now we have a cart, we have a button to have items to our cart, and so we need to grab and read this data. And so we need this data in two parts because we need the number of items in the little icon on top, and of course we need to read all the data in our cart page. So we need this data to be available globally, and for that we are going to create a loader to get the data from the server, and this loader will be in the root file, which is the parent root. Okay, so this is our loader, and we get the cart from the context, and then we get the data from the cart with the function cart get. But here we don't want to wait this promise to be resolved because we need the shop data for the SEO. We want it immediately. So we are going to use defer, which is a Remix utility for creating streaming and deferred response. It will transport the promises to our UI components. So here we create the cart icon, and as the cart icon is a child of the root file, we can get the data by using use loader data at the component level. So we get the cart data, and then we use await along with suspense, and here we resolve our cart promise, and we get this data, and from this data we get the quantity, and we can display the number of items in our cart. Now we can build all our cart components. So we have the line item component, which is the product that render each product from the cart, and here we render also our remove from cart button. The cart line items component render all the products, and we use flatten connection from the Hydrogen React library that flattens the node and edge object to a simple array of lines, and we map around this line and display each product. The cart summary component renders the total using the money component. The checkout button links to the checkout URL, very simple. And the cart content component, we display everything. So the cart line item component display all the products, the cart summary, the total cost, and the checkout button leads to the checkout URL. Now we need also our cart data in the cart chute, but the cart chute is not a child of the root file. So here we use matches, another hook that gives us access to the data from the root. So from there, we can get our cart data. And again, we use await along with suspense, and if there is, we check if there is item in our cart. In this case, we display the cart content. Otherwise, we display a cart empty component. Et voilà, we have a functional, simple e-commerce. So you can grab the slides here and have access to the repository. I'm going to show you the link to the repository, I forget. So you can scan this, and this is the repo here. Yeah, so it's very small, I think. Can you see it? I'm going to make it bigger. Oh, yes, okay. It's Alexa Dark Hydrogen Storyblok. And here you can not only clone the repo, but you can also reproduce the Storyblok space. And I show you Storyblok also as I have a few minutes, I think. So this is a visual editor, so I can drag and drop everything. And this is how I do personalization. As you have seen in the beginning, I create 3 different banners, and the banner component as a user type. And when somebody navigates to the collection, we grab the handle of the collection, we store it in a cookie, and with that we display conditionally the different banners or product grid. And so this is here in the code, in the collection handle. We use get cookie, asset cookie from React use cookie, and we get this, where is it? I was not planning to show that, but it takes time, so yes. We store the user type in the cookie, and then we display the different components conditionally. So you can explore all that in detail by cloning the repo, and I also provide all the details, all the API tokens for this Shopify shop, so you have everything to reproduce it. So yes, I also invite you to go to the Hydrogen documentation, which is really, really good. I have learned everything from there. And I'm not a documentation person, I'm a video learner, so it's really well done. And the Remix documentation. And last thing, Storyblok is organizing a raffle to win a Get subscription. So for that, you need to grab this link, scan the QR code, and fill out the form. And now I think we have time for some questions. So you can go on if you have questions. No questions? You can find me outside. I'm a people person, so never hesitate to come and talk to me about hydrogen or about anything, by the way. And thank you. Have a nice day.